Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Shawn Anthony. I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Shawn Anthony. Listen, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Shawn Anthony. Listen, fam, I'm excited you're here. You're rocking with us. But this might be your first time ever checking out the show. And if it is, let me tell you about what we do each and every single week. We can chase your dreams. And for those of you that have been listening, I want you to always remember, dream it, believe it, go out and get it. You were in a completely different position last year. Think about what we've done this year with PodProMax and what we've done with podcast tours. You know, this year started off with us putting together some of the most amazing talent. You don't need an entire year to make a bold move. That bold move might be a phone call. That bold move might be the phone call for you to pursue that business, to go full time at it and really see what you're capable of and why it keeps calling you back to it. Right now, you still have goals that you're trying to accomplish. The year is not over yet.
Everyone has a local mail lady or mailman that goes around your area, right? Talk to them. They see every house in the neighborhood. And this goes back to networking, right? They see every house in the neighborhood. I seen the mail lady walking by or driving by in her car, and she looked stressed. I said, "What's wrong?" She says, "I don't have the money to pay for my kids' Christmas gifts." I said, "I got something for you. You know every house in the neighborhood. You know what's vacant. You see the mail. Just text me the address and the owner's name of a house that you think is distressed. If I buy it, I'll give you $1,000. Over the next 30 days, she texted me over 100 addresses. I bought 2 of them by Christmas. This is right before Thanksgiving. And she said, "Yo, you literally saved my holidays. Didn't cost me anything." So you don't need a lot of money to start building wealth. You don't need a lot of money to start building a portfolio. You just need strategy, you need guidance, and you gotta go out there and implement and execute.
Think bigger than the city that you're in. One of the things that I've learned that has been very good is the ability to realize who needs to know who. That's playing the ability to understand that if I make the right connection for this person, it might help create a completely different business. It might help change everyone's life. It might help be something that can be a very high impact, that can be something that people look to as the go-to source. So I want you to develop what is it that you do and what is it that you know how to create. And I want you to go get paid for that skill set, fam. It isn't as hard as you think it is. The problem might be you just been listening to too much. You just been obtaining knowledge that you haven't went out, that this is what it takes, is that I have to realize what is it that I do and show the world that I do this at a very high level to impact more people.
When we look at our first money memory, many of us will remember something dealing with lack, shame, denial, because we carry that with us consciously or subconsciously. Each of us has some type of financial PTSD that we need to address. Because for those of us who don't address our mindset and our mindset shifts and address the financial PTSD, what we tend to do when we have more resources than we've ever had before, we spend our wealth and we wear our wealth on things that depreciate and have no value. We can like fine things, but have them work in our favor. So if we invest in Nike stocks, if we invest in Tiffany, instead of being consumers, we can be owners of these companies, because we realize that it's time for us to control our own destiny.
You know, one of the things I noticed with social media, and you notice this quickly, if you look at a couple pages, you can tell who's really giving you a sprinkle of information, who's just giving you the game. And the people who are giving you the game, they have more to give. So of course they're not going to expect that they're going to run out of new ways or new different, strategies, because they know what they are capable of. And I want to share with you right now the 3 ways that you can level up the way you are making connections, the powerful connections that can lead to long-lasting relationships.
People think that client attraction is an event. In reality, client attraction is an evolutionary process. So Google actually came out with this study recently, and it's called the 7-11-4 rule. A consumer requires 7 hours of content consumed from you, 11 different touch points in 4 different locations. So you have to put a process in place that strategically engineers that. And then also not just obsessing over top line revenue, but actually looking at profit and more specifically cash flow. Because if somebody was to come in and acquire your business and they want to buy your business, they want to look at current cash flow and they want to look at future cash flow. So then you want to zoom out and be like, okay, how do I reverse engineer XYZ cash flow? People think that scale means growing bigger and faster. Scale actually means multiplication, replication. Now, sometimes people may think that looks like 30, 40, 50 person team. But no, because the goal is to have a lean, self-led team, not just a big team, because a lot of times we try to build a big team just based on ego and stuff like that.
You're going to start doing something in your life and you're going to start getting noticed. You know, when we launched PodProMax, one of the things that we say all the time is, I use podcasting to get you access to places you should be, but you can't get into. And that creates curiosity. It makes you wonder, okay, what do I need to know about podcasting? How can this be a tool for me? So start working on your elevator pitch, because there's going to be a moment where somebody's going to ask you, and you have to be ready to say that in a short amount of time span where it makes sense. And today I want to talk about what are the 3 things you need to do once you start getting noticed in your craft and in your space and in your field. You ready? Let's go.
The whole reason I left law was because I'm not giving you this money back, because I don't have another job. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do next. And I earn that money by dealing with y'all nonsense. So that was kind of when I realized, every time you negotiate, you have to have leverage. I find a lot of entrepreneurs go into entrepreneurship to work less or to work easier. And everyone at the top loves the work. Part of that is learning sales psychology, learning how to tap into the buyer's mindset, learning how to create $1 million offers, learning how to win the battle in your own mind. There's like two big pieces of sales. The other piece is like, third piece is those are like the 3 corners of sales. If you can master all 3, then you're in there. Because most people don't take enough sales action because their own thoughts about whether or not it will succeed. If we aren't aware of the invisible enemies that we're fighting, we can never win.
I came across a quote that really stood out, and it said, make self-praise familiar. Think about it. If you're watching the Olympics right now, if you're watching talent like Noah Lyles, he's telling himself, this is it. This is the moment.
I remember growing up saying, when it's my turn, I'm going to make sure that the U.S. is on top.
It's very, very tight. It's Noah Lyles. The champion roars once more.
They're having so many people tell them what they can be and what they can't be, but what is the conversation we are having with ourselves? And today I want to drive home the message on why it's important to make sure that you are giving your own self-praise. Every single journey, every single step in the entrepreneurship lane, you're going to learn so many different things. 2-time Emmy Award winner Mario Armstrong always says, vulnerability is the new currency.
I tell people it's my superpower now. I think that's the beautiful thing about vulnerability. You're not gonna be for everyone. There are often times, myself, I didn't really feel like I found my true calling until like 10 years after I graduated college, and that's a lot of time to just be like feeling like you're a hamster on a wheel going round and round for a paycheck. And it's interesting because there are people that have been following me for years, and I will receive messages from people from way before saying like, I've been watching your journey since way before Love is Blind. Like, it's just really neat seeing your vulnerability and your strength and how you tackle obstacles. And it's just really refreshing to see, transparency online. So I keep doing it.
If you slow down and paid attention to your schedule, your agenda, this year is almost over, fam. And I want you to be prepared so that you can end the year off strong. You could be turning up. You could be learning books. You could be taking courses. You could be doing all the things to progress yourself mentally so that you're 10 steps ahead of the competition before the year kicks off. So how do we do this, Shawn? How do we make sure that we finish the year strong? So I want you to grab your pen. I want you to grab your paper and buckle up as I go over the 3 ways to finish the year on top. Yo, what you think? I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I want to know what you learned. So if you wouldn't mind, would you take a screenshot of you listening to the podcast on your phone right now? Upload to your Instagram stories, tag me at Shawn Anthony _, and then let me know in that Instagram story what is one thing that you learned. I love hearing from you, my listeners, thought leaders, former or current students all around the world. Let me know, and while you're doing this, go inside the podcast app, subscribe, leave a 5-star review and a 5-star rating. Again, this helps us reach more people. And if you want to be a part of this mission, helping us change the world one person at a time, it makes a massive difference by you leaving a review. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week. And remember, dream it, believe it, go out and get it.